All right, so we are back. Hopefully you finished questions numbers 1 through 8, okay? Or at least you watched the video and you know how to do it. Your homework was to do problems 1 through 8, and then you're also going to do problems 15 to 20. So what I'm going to do right now in this video clip is talk about problems 15 through 20. These are your trinomials. They're trinomials because there are 3 terms, okay? So if you remember, you have your perfect square trinomials. They're in the format of a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. Okay, and on your sheet, you'll see how to factor those perfect square trinomials. Number 15 is a perfect square trinomials. And Miss Mathis told me that you guys know how to do that, so you guys are going to rock that. Number 16, it looks complicated because you see all of these coefficients. Coefficients are the numbers in front of the variable, and then this is a constant, right? But they all have something in common. So you see greatest common factor is coming back into play. What do all 3 of them have in common? If you said 4, you are correct. So we would factor out the 4. That's the greatest common factor. And then we would be left with a squared plus 4a plus 4. And then you would have to factor out what's inside of this parenthesis. So this is a first step, but now you need to factor out what's inside of here. And this is a perfect square trinomial. And there's no coefficient here now, right, in front of the a squared. So you guys know how to do that. Ms. Mathis told me you guys know how to do that. So that's how you would start off at number 16. Number 17, it looks complicated. It really does. But this is also a perfect square trinomial. Let me tell you why. 16 is a perfect square. The square root, let me go ahead and put 16y squared. The square root of 16y squared, right, is 4y. That's what the square root of that is. The square root of 49, the square root of 49 is 7. If I multiply 7 times 4, I get 28. And if I multiply that by 2, I get 56. So this is also a perfect square trinomial. Okay, so that's your hint for number 17. It is a perfect square trinomial. So far, trinomial. So far, 15, 16, after you factor it out, 17 are all perfect square trinomials. Let's take a look at number 18. Now with 18, it's not written in a proper format. So that will throw you off. Notice that the square isn't first. They have the middle term first. So I would rewrite that. I would rewrite that as 4y squared minus 20xy plus 25x squared. And guess what, y'all? It's a perfect square trinomial. Perfect square trinomial. And just to come back up here, I realized I didn't say what this is equal to. If you have a perfect square trinomial, it's in that format. Then when you're factoring it, it would be a plus b squared. The end, right? If there's a minus in between here, if it was a squared minus 2ab. Now remember, the a squared is representing the first term, right? The b squared is representing the last term, and you take the square root of it. That's how you get the a and the b, right? So then it would just be a minus b squared if there's a minus here instead of a plus, right? So in this one, there's a minus here, so you use the minus. You take the square root of 4y squared. You take the square root of 25x squared. All right, and just square root of 4y squared, I'll just give you a hint. Square root of 4 is, and the square root of y squared, I'll give you a hint with that one, is y, okay? So I'll write that here. The square root of y squared is y, just so you guys remember when you're taking the square root of a variable, what that looks like. Number 19, Ms. Mathis told me you guys know how to do that, right? So you guys are good with that. Number 20, factor out the greatest common factor. What do all three of these terms have in common? They all have a 2 in common. So if I factor that out, I'm going to get y squared minus 8y plus 16. That's what I'm going to have inside the parentheses. And then now I don't have a coefficient to worry about. Now you guys can factor it, okay? So you're going to factor this even more. So you're not done with that. You're going to factor it even more. And that is the end of your worksheet. So I've given you guys tips on each one of these problems. I expect for you guys to have each one of these problems done by the end of class. If you need to take this home and finish it up for homework, when we come back on Friday, we will review. I'm going to be giving you guys a grade for this. So please make sure that you have this completed and uploaded into Canvas. All right. Have a great day, everyone, and I will see you on Friday. We will see you on Friday.